everyone. This hangout is officially live. We are back this week for Life Leverage Series. Welcome, everyone. We've got Dr. Tony Hatton in the house. Hi, sweetheart.
Hello, hello, Takesha. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And boy, look who we have here.
Who? Who are we talking about? This is what we're talking about.
We got Franz Conde himself. Welcome back this
And
week.
thank you. In the flesh, in the flesh.
That. All right, so we are excited. We are getting ready to get started. I'm going to turn it over to our host or our co-host while I go into virtualnetworkinglive.com so we can see who's out there watching this week's episode. You guys ready?
Yes.
Absolutely.
We
We
got
are
some
ready.
Yes.
in store. I'm excited. All right, I'm going to turn it over to you, Dr. Haddon. Let me go open up the virtual networking live group.
Awesome, awesome. Welcome to Life Leverage TV. All you life leveragers out there, we are so excited to be back with you this week. We trust that you had a phenomenal week since last week's Life Leverage. Joining in, chiming in with real people, sharing real stories with real solutions. We're here to support you in shifting, supporting you in moving forward, supporting you in getting unstuck, supporting you in sorting out what it is that you're dealing with, getting clarity. This is what Life Leverage TV is all about. And it's an honor and a privilege to host Life Leverage TV with Dakesha Williams and Franz Conde. So excited to be back with you. We're looking forward to hearing your stories tonight. We just want you to relax, to open up, to share. All the Life Leveragers watching right now, I trust that you have pen and paper handy because you never know when you're going to see something or you're going to hear something that's going to hit you on another level, that's going to resonate with you, that's going to cause a shift in your perception. Back to you, Franz. Welcome to Life Leverage TV.
Woo, that was awesome, doctor. Every time you talk, my ears are wide open. Let me tell you something. I'm excited. Good evening, everyone out there. Good evening, good evening, good evening. And thank you for that wonderful introduction to Keisha and Dr. Hatton. My name again is Franz Conde, your entrepreneur, edutainer, extraordinary par excellence, and we are welcoming you live to our show. We are so excited to have you here with us, and I'm so excited to have my wonderful co-host, the exciting, the indomitable Dakesha Chambers Williams, and the extraordinary visionary Dr. Hatton. Can you please just, ladies, just think about, you're beautiful, you're successful, you're doing your thing. We have a wonderful lineup for you tonight. We're so excited. If you tuned in last week, you know exactly what I mean. This show is on point. This is for the people that don't just want to watch Empire, but that want to build an empire. So we are ready to build an empire, and we are welcoming you out there in virtualnetworkinglive.com and the live private exclusive Facebook group, and we are ready to rock. We have a phenomenal lineup for you tonight. If you are ready out there, please hashtag I'm ready. So put that right now into the private exclusive Facebook group. Hashtag I'm ready, because we are ready for you. Take it away, Doc.
Yes, absolutely. We're looking forward to interviewing all of the speakers, and I'm looking in I believe, let's see, is that Myra? Is that Myra in the chat? Did I see Myra out there?
Hello.
Hello, Myra. Welcome to Life Leverage TV. I want to encourage you to share your story with the leveragers who are watching right now. And you just never know who's out there listening and watching that need to hear what it is that you have to say tonight. So tell us a little bit about who you are. What is it that you do? What is your story, Myra? What is the solution that you share with the audience tonight?
I am Ms. Myra Smith Fry, and I am a mother, a wife, and a lady that's determined to get it done. I have struggled with a lot of things, part of which people look at me because I always have a smile on my face, so they would be surprised to know that I've struggled with depression. They might be surprised to know that I've had struggles throughout my life. But the title of what I represent is called I Am Special. And that's where I've had to learn to overcome people telling me, you don't have what it takes. you're not good enough, you're not this enough, you're not that enough, and finding a way to get it done regardless. I've had to dig real down deep and find out who I was and whose I was. And thank goodness I discovered, remembered, believe, and have achieved that I am special because God says I'm special. So I want to take the platform that God has given me, which is a part of the I Am Special movement, and get everyone to know that they are special, that they have some value, they have some worth. Most times when people start looking at your differences, what do you want to do? You want to just cover your face? You want to run away and hide? Well, you need to be excited about your differences because guess what? That's who makes you who you are. Have you ever had somebody tell you that you just don't count? Have you ever had somebody count you out? Well, I have. I've had people tell me I'm not pretty enough, I'm too tall, that I am just worthless. I'm sure somebody out there has had somebody do that to them before. Even coming into this world, and once I realized it, I had to make a discovery and know that I was special, even though people told me, well, you're not going to amount to much because your parents aren't together. I was born to a single mother. And when I reach back and look at what got me through life, it became known and evolved into something called mason jar wisdom. See, I'm just a country girl. I'm a rural American. And when I started out on this journey to try to reach other people, I'm like, who wants to listen to me? I'm from Marshall. Don't nobody know what that is. I'm from a small East Texas town. But now I've learned to embrace that and know that country folks are special too. And one of the mason jar nuggets of wisdom, that is, there's 5 of them. And the first one is to discover and believe that I am special. No matter what anybody tells me, no matter what anybody does not want to allow me to do, then I have to know within myself that I count too. And then once you discover that you're special, then you have to know that you have to have a dream. And I've been accused of being a big dreamer. Does that mean all of my dreams have come true? No. But anybody ever heard of Langston Hughes? A dream deferred? Well, I grabbed a hold of that poem, and in my life, it became known as a dream deferred is not a dream denied. So the best thing to do in life is to have a dream and to keep on moving toward that dream. But you got to wake up, because if you have a dream and you don't do anything with it, guess what? It becomes a nightmare. And as you're going toward your dream and your goals, guess what you're going to have? You're going to have some obstacles. I mean, I can remember as far back as the first grade, knowing that I wanted to go to college. I had an older cousin who's about 10 years older than me. She came to live with us, and I heard the talk about the money and what it takes. Well, I knew even in the first grade that my mama couldn't afford to send me to college. So I had 2 choices. I could dream about going to college or just give up. And guess what I decided to do? I decided to put my best foot forward, and in the words of my mama, use what you got. So I had a zeal for knowledge and a desire to go. I didn't worry about that I knew she couldn't pay for it. And as I said, I was born to a single mother, so my dad wasn't going to pay for it. And so I did achieve going to college. When I got to college, I could just rest it on my laurels. Okay, I made it. You know, I got something to brag about. But no, I didn't. I didn't stop there. I pursued it until I did it. So that's what I ask all of you to do tonight. Pursue it until you do it. Let me hear you hashtag that right about now. Pursue it until you do it. Because have you had some obstacles? Well, if you haven't, keep living. But if you have some, what are you going to do? You going to give up or give out? No, you got to just find a way to dig in and keep on going. And then you pursued it, you've done it, you've achieved something. But then there's a big question you got to ask yourself. And a friend of mine came up with this. I've never heard it quite this way. What do you plan to do when you achieve your goals? So many people reach their goals and then they find out what? They're empty. It's like, okay, so what next? Well, that means you got to go back to the drawing board and get some more goals. That's right. You got to go back.
All
And
right.
and once you first come to discover that you're special, there's some responsibility that goes with that. See, you don't get to just feel ooey gooey or all puffed up. You have to know that if you are going to accept the fact that you are special, which means you have unique differences that have value and worth, and once you learn how to put them to work, you and everybody else will benefit from them. Guess what you have to do? You got to do something, because if you are special, guess what special people do? Special people do special things. So, are you feeling special right about now? Has anybody ever told you that you're special? Just in case they haven't, I want to tell you right now, you are special. Let me get you to hashtag that like you believe it. I am special. Yes. So you believe it, you achieve it. It is a thing that can be done. Mason jar wisdom is just 5 nuggets. First, you have to believe that you are, and accept and do and live an I am special kind of life. Then you have to have a dream, but you can't just sit on that dream. You got to dream and then do. And as things come up, I mean, you may lose your job, your relationship may end, you may have to drop out of college. You may not have the right credentials, but does that mean you don't keep going? No, you keep on going. So you have to dream and then do. And once you have that dream and you're working toward it, you have to pursue it until you do it. Remember that special people do special things. And can you do it any old time, any old way? No, you got to do it to the utmost. But you can't wait tomorrow, because we all know tomorrow is not promised. When do you have to do it? You have to do it now and talk later.
Mm-hmm.
Do it now and talk
Wow.
later.
Myra, can I get you to do me a
Uh,
favor and center your camera just a little bit? Mic check.
That help? Did that help?
Yes, that's better. Awesome.
All right.
All right, I'll
Got it.
turn it back over to you guys.
all
Thank you.
right. Wow, Myra, that was awesome. So now let me just run through that whole thing that you just shared. First of all, thank you, Myra, and welcome. First of all, I love your headphones. I feel like I got the cheap ones. You got the great ones. That's another story. So you talked about some. You said you're a country girl. Where do you hail from?
I am from a town in Texas known as Marshall, Texas.
Oh, suck it, suck it.
A
That's
lot of
lovely.
famous people are from there, including me
Oh.
now. All right.
So we got some good Southern loving in the house. That's awesome. That's awesome. Now you talked about what was it called? Was it Mason Dixon nuggets? Is that what you said?
Mason jar wisdom.
Oh, Mason jar. What does that mean? What's Mason jar? What is that?
What do you know about the South? Everything in the South is done centered around mason jars, because everything tastes better out of a mason jar. That's
Ah,
especially lemonade, water, or tea. And so I have a weekly inspirational call known as the Sunday night I Am Special Inspirational Call. And we invite the guests to have a mason jar full of lemonade, water, or tea. And then guess what? They have to go on a learning journey with me and my guests. And we share mason jar wisdom. It's just nuggets of information and resources that help you move and to become a person that lives an I am special kind of life.
I love that. Now I have a question because I like to eat. Do these jar nuggets, do they come with barbecue sauce? That's all I want to
Woo! If you eat some ribs. There's nothing like being in the South and there's some barbecue going on some kind of way.
Oh man, I might have to take a trip out to Texas. But on a more serious note, so you laid out a couple of things that you went through. I think you said you overcame depression. Is that correct?
I've struggled with that a lot in my life. Yes.
Awesome, awesome. We actually had a guest on last week that overcame some of the same things, and she laid out some of the things that she used, some of the strategies that she used to overcome not just depression, but other things in her life. What are some specific strategies that you use to overcome things like depression or any other challenges that you may have had in your life?
Yes. Well, I used prayer and my relationship with God. I also am not afraid to go see a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I just happen not to like medicine. So I've used natural supplements and not man-made medicines for mine. And there's a reason for that, because at some points in my life when it happened, I am actually the mother of two children on the autistic spectrum, and they're on opposite ends. And so I couldn't afford to be on medicine that was going to not have me aware of what was going on. So at the time when I had a really bad crisis, God happened to put in my path and a doctor from an Asian background, and hey, you seek and you shall find, and God will
See,
give.
you shall find. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, so he was able to hear my story and understand that, first of all, I just don't like medicine, period. But secondly, that I needed to make sure that I was aware of what was going on, because I didn't have anybody at the time. At the time when I had this major crisis, I found out my mother had dementia. My husband wasn't here, and so I had to still be available. And my son at that time he didn't sleep much. So if I'm knocked out sleep and I can't hear him, all kind of things could have happened. So
Right.
yeah, so I do use I've used counseling, I've used therapy, and I have used my relationship with God. I'm leaning on God a lot.
So that's awesome. So I know you said you don't like medicine, but in a way you used non-traditional medicine, if you will, because you used spiritual medicine on a certain level. You went to a Chinese herbalist, I believe you said, or Eastern medicine
He
specialist.
was
But
actually
what?
he was actually a doctor, but yes, he gave me the natural version of what other people would have had man-made.
Gotcha.
Treated, yes, and thank goodness it worked for me. You know,
Awesome. But
yeah.
to me, the undercurrent of what you just whole said, and the key that a lot of people may not be aware of, is that first of all, you were proactive in your own healing, which is very important on different levels. And secondly, you had to take a step of courage to become proactive, because that's a key ingredient in becoming successful. A lot of people think that courage is the absence of fear, but really it's feeling the fear and doing it anyway. So
And
you were
doing it
able to
anyway.
step up to the plate and address whatever issues you were facing, become proactive, and take steps to correct it. And so I commend you for that, because a lot of people allow the fear to paralyze them instead of using that fear to motivate them
Mhm.
to eliminate the fear in the first place.
Absolutely. And I've written a book. It's simply titled Mason Jar Wisdom. Then I found out you had to have a subtitle. So the subtitle the subtitle says, taking you from knowing you are special to showing that special people do special things.
Wow. Okay, so let me run through it. So I believe you said you're a mompreneur. Is that correct?
I am a mompreneur, but I also have just recently went back and have a somebody else's gig too. So I have side gigs, real gigs, all kind of gigs going
All
on.
kinds of things. So you got the authorship going, you got your businesses going, you got your. I think you said you have a call-in show that you also do. All of that is phenomenal. And I'm sure if I know Dr. Hatton, she's got a list of stuff that she wants to ask you, or a list of stuff that she wants to address. I can see the eyes jingling right there. So
Uh-oh.
I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Hatton so she could come up with the more of the feminine perspective, the female perspective, and address it from that end. Go ahead, Doctor.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Franz. Thank you so much, Myra. That was a wonderful story that you shared. And I really want to highlight this specialness that you're talking about, because people need to know that they're special. You said so many incredible things that stood out to me. You mentioned how it's our differences that makes us who we are. It's our differences that
Absolutely.
makes us unique. Most of the time, Myra, people look at their differences and view them as something's wrong with them. They look at their differences and they look at them as that's something about me that makes me not fit in. But you've taken this word special. I recall you said you had to dig deep. You had to dig deep within yourself and discover the treasure within. And when you discovered how special you were able to, share that with others and remind them how special they are as well. And I so applaud you for that, because, when we're pursuing any goal in life, when we don't believe in ourselves, or believe our worth, or believe that it's our uniqueness and our differences that sets us apart and makes us in demand, makes us who we are, and makes us necessary. See, when you're different, my son says to me sometimes, Mom, if everybody was the same, only one person is necessary. If everybody was the same, we only need
Mm,
one.
I like
Think
that.
about that.
Absolutely. I like
Think
that.
about that. So our uniqueness and our differences makes us who we are and makes us necessary. They make us valuable. So I want to ask you a question about your specialness, because you have such a beautiful smile, and when, like you said, when people look at you, they would never know that you dealt with depression. Now, depression, feeling heavy, frustrations, mental illness, Alzheimer's, you mentioned dementia, all of that is running rampant in our country, almost like a common cold now. It's like becoming common.
Yes.
And one of the things that I offer as a free gift, and I'm gonna offer it, after you share your story, because it's dealing with mental illness, it's dealing with that, it's dealing with the mindset, it's dealing with depression. But I want to ask you, Myra, in the midst of all of that, at the time that you were, because you said you were dealing with depression, and then you said in the midst of that, your mom was dealing with dementia. So let me ask you this. In the midst of all of that, did you ever ponder, did it ever cross your mind that you would be teaching people how to discover how special and unique that they are?
Not really. At that point, I was still employed in my other life job. And what happened was this manager just turned manager from hell. Can I say that?
Mhm. Mhm.
and
Yep.
and she knew all the stuff that I was going through. And I'm a loyal employer. I'm a loyal friend. I'm a loyal coach, mentor. That's just who I am. And she was trying to crush me, and she sort of succeeded. And but what happened is that what should have taken me out, it
Mm.
it took me way down to the ground. Don't get me wrong. It took me way down to the ground. But I was able to really get to a point that I had to remember who I was and remember whose I was. I mean, the first video I made after, well, I lost a job I had been on for 14 years, and that was in 2009. When I tell you I had to walk out the belief that God is your provider, and this is just everything kept escalating. So before she fired me, she told me two things, and at the time I thought she was just talking out of her neck. She told me, "You're worthless."
Woo. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
that cut deep. And then
Wow.
the second thing she told me was that I know this is not the end of you. And at the time, like I say, this woman talking out of both sides of her neck. But now I know God would not allow her last words to be a stumbling block, but to be my stepping stone.
Mm,
And it took a friend of mine that taught, named Victor. He taught me to say, you don't say you were terminated, say you were liberated. Because I believe if I had stayed in that job, I probably wouldn't be on this panel tonight. You know, what does the job do? It keeps you just over broke. And then what do you start doing? You start believing somebody else's opinion of you. So my job, when I mentor somebody, coach somebody, facilitate or teach, because I am a certified motivational career coach as well as a certified teacher in the state of Texas, is to help them to be inspired to pull out of them the greatness. Because what does it says? Greater in us is he than he that is in the world. So my job is to make you realize how great
Mm.
you are. My
Mm.
job is to make you go down deep. And I'm an excavator. I like to really dig down deep and get you to say, you know, what is something that has me stuck? Because I had to go there. What had me stuck? All the years of the negative input that I started
Yes.
to believe, and all the times that I never felt I was good enough, didn't amount. I made pretty good grades, but I never thought I was smart enough. You know,
Mhm.
I'm not the worst looking person in the world, but I never thought I was pretty enough. And that's because people always ragged on me. They talked about my nose. I mean, I was trying out for the drill team in high school, and a so-called friend before I went in to try out said to me, "Hey, Myra, okay, you look all right. You dance all right. But we're so sorry you're not going to make it because your hair is too short." They told me that on the way into tryouts. Do you know I wanted to run and cry and go the other way? But somehow God
My
allowed
God.
me to walk in there
Mhm.
and go. And not only did I try out, but guess who was on the sideline crying? Miss Long Hair. Okay. I made the drill team that day. And dancing, I don't know if I'm any good at it, but it's something I love. So when people come to my workshops, I have them design their personality life dance floor. And that's based on whether they are a triangle, a circle, a rectangle, or a square. and and it's so important that you learn how you're motivated, you learn how your personality works, and then you got to learn how you interact with other people's personality, because you can either uplift somebody or you can destroy somebody, and I prefer to build somebody any day and help them take a step in the right direction of life instead of going under.
Wow. Wow, that's powerful. You know, the more we dig deep, the more we ask you questions, the real essence of where this special message that you're talking about comes from, you know, and the more it helps people to understand everyone watching, everyone not watching, everyone created is special, and they don't know that because they're not digging deep enough. Would you agree, Myra?
Absolutely. And the sad part is when you tell somebody they're special, they always go to the negative word and go, I'm not retarded. Well, I don't like that word anyway, but especially since I have children on the spectrum, and the first thing they did was my youngest, who's supposed to be a nonverbal, but I call him not as verbal, because one other thing about me is that I am determined. So when they told me that my child would never talk, would never be, we call it potty trained, but education calls it toileted, would never recognize the alphabet. I told them, but you don't know who I know. And I didn't know anything about autism. I knew a little bit about mental retardation because that's what they called it at the time, and now they call it intellectual disabled. But I told my son before any diagnosis, if Helen Keller can learn, and for those of you that don't know, she was blind and she was deaf.
Mm-hmm.
I told my son, if Helen Keller can learn, you can too.
Mm-hmm.
We hear feedback. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Myra. We hear feedback. Do you hear that?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
We still hear feedback.
What about now?
Nope. Say it again. Say it again, Myra.
Can you hear me now?
That's
Okay.
better. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know where that came from.
That's
Okay.
fine. So you left
Yes.
off at talking about how you were advocating for your son. Wow. Now I don't know if you know. I mean, Dakisha may know a little bit. She may have heard my circle, but you really touched something right there when you started talking about how you had to not only advocate for your son, but you had to support his belief system in himself. You had to, help him get clear as to who he was, and that so resonates with me. I walked that journey for years, so I understand clearly. When you said that, it was like, that's my language. You were speaking clear English to me, because it's a whole different level. Now here's the deal, Myra. Here's the deal. It's one thing to believe in yourself and struggle to believe in yourself and struggle to see your uniqueness and how special you are. But it's something else that happens when it's our children.
Mm-hmm.
And you're working on their belief system, their uniqueness, and how special they are. That's a totally different ballgame. Do you guys hear
Absolutely.
feedback? I hear feedback. Do you hear that?
It came
I
in, but
did.
it's gone.
It's clear now?
I don't know if it's really feedback because Myra got so spiritual on us. I think it's just a message, like the ether, just coming in. Yes, Myra. When you get that echo.
I know, Myra making stuff happen.
She's taking us there, boy.
God gets that glory.
Yes. Yes, she touched on so many incredible things.
I think it's every time I unmute myself, you hear the feedback.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so it's Dakisha.
No, we're still getting
Dakisha in the house.
We're still getting a little feedback, a little echo.
Okay. So, Myra, when you were talking about that, it really resonated with me. My 10-month-old son was diagnosed with cancer of the retina. And by the time he was 5, we had to have his eyes removed in order to save his life. When you talk about advocating, when I looked at your face a minute ago and I heard you talk about how you were talking to your son and his belief system, I understood clearly that you were in mommy mode. It's something totally different that happens when we're dealing with our children and supporting them in believing in themselves. This year, my son will be 29 years old. Totally
Amen.
productive, independent. He's a certified
Yeah.
massage therapist, music producer, plays in jazz band. He just lives a full life.
Awesome.
Now,
And that's what we want for our kids.
absolutely, absolutely. But here's the deal, Myra. Here's the deal. You're talking about being special, and then you started talking about making sure your son understood he was special and that he could have anything that he desired no matter what, right? Because when you said if Helen Keller can do it, this is the way you were talking to your son. But here's the deal. When we start showing other people how special and unique and their differences and the power that lies within, because we hear the phrase all the time, you can take a licking and keep on ticking, but do we really believe that? Do we believe that the things that we desire are in the things that we have, not what we lost?
Right.
Mm-mm.
Do we really believe that? So when you talk about this being special, that is huge. And I just totally, totally, totally encourage you, because when I first heard your message about being special, I wasn't sure as to what angle you were going with it. But you
Mhm.
have found something, Myra, that most people struggle with. Not only, see, there are paths and different angles to, or different perceptions to being special.
Mhm.
Let's say they may not say I struggle with being special. Let's say they struggle with feeling worthy. Let's say they
Absolutely.
struggle with feeling deserving, or they
Low
struggle with
self-esteem.
feeling
Mhm.
good enough.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure
Mhm.
you've had clients like that. They came that way,
Absolutely.
but you knew the bottom line was they didn't feel special.
Yeah, we had to dig down deep. And when the movement started, it was actually for just children. But then God said to me, "How can we as adults tell a child that they're special and we don't believe it?" And
Absolutely.
so he gave me two affirmations. I think the first one was for myself, but I shared it with the children. It says, "I'm special because God says I'm special." It's
Yeah.
not about who my parents are. It's not about how I feel. It's because God is real. And then it evolved, because once you know you're special, you got to know why you're special. It
Yeah.
says, "I'm special. I was born that way. I'm special even until today. I have gifts that I must do. I have gifts to present to you." And that's what I want everybody to realize. You have at least one talent. You have at least one gift. You have at least one purpose that you are meant to carry out. And my big mama had a saying, said, "Do and talk later." But thanks to my friend Star, Miss Barbertune, illuminate your life with light, she told me to add a little something to it. Do it now and talk later. See, that's what happens to most people. They never get to doing it, or they don't know what to do. So as soon, if you don't know, you need a mentor, you need a coach, you need a facilitator, you need a teacher. I have different ones for different areas of my life. Everybody can't give me the same thing.
Right.
And no, I can't be everything to all people. I'm not meant to reach all people. But I know if I reach one and they reach one and we all keep reaching one, guess what? We're going to uplift all. And that's why I'm put on this earth, to uplift all. Not by myself, but with all of you. In fact, I want to hear y'all say it. I am special.
I am special.
Me too.
All right now. And we got to get from saying it ourselves to giving it to somebody else, and then it goes around. If you've ever been in a dance routine, they have something called a contagion. It starts on one end and it goes all the way to the next. So one person does it, the next person, the next person, the next person. When it gets to the end, it's supposed to reverse. So all of us have to know who we are, why we are, and get about the business of getting it done. And you can't wait to any old time. You can't do it any old way. You got to do it now, and you got to talk later.
Awesome. Awesome. Franz, you look kind of full, so I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Listen, anytime you say, Southern woman and you start talking about, nuggets and Big Mama, I feel full and with all the great information. I love the South, so I appreciate that. You said a couple key things. especially with the challenges that you had to help your son overcome as well as yourself. Because in the daytime, I usually work with emotionally challenged students. And I like some of the things that you said because you talked about, in essence, a shift. And I always tell people a minor shift can result in a major change. For example, a shift in the Earth's tectonic plates, just a slight little shift, can cause earthquakes, tidal waves, volcanic activity, and the same holds true for our lives. A slight little shift in our thinking changes everything because people always think you have to make a major change. But the truth is, major changes happen with minor changes within you. And it's because once you do one minor change, it leads to another minor change, and the accumulation of those things altogether leads to major changes in your life. Because you said something key. You said we're all special. And what a lot of people don't realize is that you were born to be great, period. And it's not just a colloquialism, it's the truth. We were born to be great, but what happens along the line is we get programmed to fail because of people's beliefs about themselves. And what they do is they project whatever they feel about themselves onto you, onto their kids. Just like when you mentioned your boss said what she said. So the key is to be strong enough and build yourself up enough to say, is this information true? Because funny enough, a lot of the things that we accept as true is just not true.
Absolutely.
Like when people say you're not worthy, that is not true. What is that based on? Where is the basis for that truth? Because too many of us base our truths on opinions instead of basing our opinions on the truth. And the truth is we are worthy. The truth is we are great. The truth is we are special in our own right. And the key is, like you said, is to discover our own gifts, our own talents, and our own abilities. Because if I'm a cat and you raise me to be an eagle, and I'm judging my ability on my ability to fly, I will think myself to be a flightless bird, worthless. However, if I'm true to myself and you are true to me and we become congruent, now I can base my success on my own ability, and then once I do that, I can exceed my ability. So the key is to define yourself properly, which is what you did, because you had to change your definition. You had to throw out that old dictionary and say, this is not who Myra is. This is who some people may have thought I was, and even myself. But again, you went and searched for the truth, and the truth really did set you free. You know, and that's why I think you got that message from the ether to get the echo effect, because it was, to me, it was just amplifying your message. It wasn't feedback; it was feeding forward. It was feeding me, and I know it was feeding our audience. So if you're out there in the private, elusive, exclusive Facebook group, the virtualnetworkinglive.com, put that in there. Hashtag I'm born for greatness. Period. I'm born for greatness. It is, and if you don't believe that, go into the science of it. Look at your mind. You realize we only use about 2% of our mental power?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you see the movie
The average
Lucy?
person?
Yes.
Thank you. Go ahead, talk. I knew you were going to say that. Great leader. Go ahead. Talk about Lucy. Because I love Lucy. I love Lucy, man. I love Lucy.
Not that Lucy, not that Lucy. But there was a movie that just came out, and the lady, something got on the inside of her, so it boosted up her brain power. And Morgan Freeman played this professor that was talking about us not using enough of our, percentage of our brain power. But we have to exercise our brain. We have to exercise our, from the inside out. Most of us say we want to lose weight, but are we doing it exercise? No. So just like on the outside, you've got to exercise the inside. And you've got to surround yourself with people that can help you to go further than yourself. I'm grateful for my friend Victor, because when I was thinking myself as a chicken, and I heard the chicken and the eagle, I'm an eagle, but I was put on the form with the chicken. So I'm used to people, throwing me my food. So what I do, I look down. But this person comes along to the farm and say, but that's an eagle. Why is he down here with the chickens? I said he was a chicken. Well, can I take him and see if he can, become an eagle? And he went through several different scenarios with him, but finally he put him on top of the mountain. And when he saw the sun come up, he just flew off like he was supposed to do and soar. And that's what we need. Somebody to see that we're eagles, even though somebody's told us we're chicken. Because we're meant to soar. We're meant to fly. And so if you don't believe it for yourself, you need to connect yourself with somebody that can believe it until you can believe it and achieve it.
All right.
I
Love it.
agree. I agree. You know, Mara, you said so many wonderful and amazing things, but I want to share something with you. But I want to say something about what Franz said. Franz said that he talked about those subtle shifts. You know, he talked about this a slight shift. You know, in our thinking, like just like a slight shift in the universe causes the weather to change in drastic ways. You know, a slight shift in our thinking. You know, he said people think that they have to make these major changes. You know, changing your thoughts can change your entire life. And I want to reference that when he said that, I was reminded of what Myra said. She said right before she was going to audition for tryouts, someone said something to her that made her crumble. She said she could have cried and retreated, but she did not. That's a slight shift. That's how subtle, you know, those thoughts. She thought a different thought. She could have succumbed to her feelings, and she would have had a totally different outcome. So, life leveragers, I hope that you're getting this. I hope that you're understanding clearly that when you choose to think a different thought in the face of adversity, you are shifting your entire life. Would you agree, Myra? Is Myra still with us? Can you hear me? Oh, is she on
Yes.
mute?
Hello. How are
Hey,
you?
Myra.
Okay. My son was wanting to be on the camera with his voice too, so that's why I muted out. But yes, I absolutely agree that because I was crying on the inside, but I had to find a way to do it and be sad at the same time. And for me, once I start dancing, it's all over. That's where I go to when that's what keeps me off of drugs. That's what keeps me from being an alcoholic as a teen. That was my go to. I go dancing. It doesn't cost a lot of money, and it's a lot of fun, and it gets those endorphins going. But yes, you do have to make a slight change. You do. And if you don't make a slight change, then what happens? You end up going backwards.
I
I
love that.
totally
So I'm
agree.
gonna. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Doc.
Nope, nope. I was just saying I totally agree.
Girl, say it again. I love when you. I just like hearing your voice. Just say it again.
I totally agree, Myra. You have a fantastic story, you know, and I'm so appreciative, and I just trust that the life leverages are really getting a lot. There was a lot of meat that we could pull from this story. These golden nuggets, like you mentioned, you know, from the mason jar, that we could actually use and apply in our lives. You know, this is what Life Leverage TV is all about. Real people sharing real stories with real solutions. When we talk about real solutions, you have to capture the information. If anything resonated with you on a deeper level, because see, truth is encoded in your DNA. When you hear truth, it hits you, it agrees with the truth that's in you, and it hits you in a different way. You're supposed to capture that. You're not supposed to just hear that. It gets your attention, and then you go back to the routine of life. This is an answer to something you've been dealing with. So I trust that you are receiving a lot of information that will launch you forward. Would you agree, Franz?
Absolutely. And I want, and you know what, Doc, whenever you talk, you inspire me with it without even knowing it. Without even knowing it. Especially as you. Anyway.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
May I give
So,
my contact information?
oh,
Oh,
absolutely. We're gonna
absolutely.
plug you. We're gonna
Absolutely.
plug you. We're gonna plug you, girl. You good?
Okay. Thank you. All right.
Before
All
we do
right.
that, I just want
Sure.
everyone in the private, elusive, exclusive Facebook group on virtualnetworkinglive.com. And if you're just joining us, welcome. I'm Franz Conde, entrepreneur educator extraordinaire for excellence, co-hosted with the awesome Dakisha Chambers Williams and the extraordinary visionary Dr. Hatton, with our wonderful guest Myra, who broke it down for us.
Yeah.
So if you're in the private, elusive, exclusive Facebook group, I want you to hashtag a slight mental shift will lead to your major gift. Once again, a
Yes.
slight mental shift will lead to your major gift. One more time, hashtag a slight mental shift will lead to your major gift. And I see Myra over there boogieing with that statement. So Myra, I'm going to let you wrap up with your closing thoughts, something you can share, something that you want us, the private, elusive, exclusive Facebook group to hashtag, and also talk to us about how they can reach you, how they can connect with you, whether it's via Facebook or whether it's via Instagram or online or offline. How do they connect with you? And tell us what you can offer to our viewers audience. Go ahead, Mike. Take it away.
Yes. I am so grateful to have this opportunity to be on this platform. Thank you to everyone. You all are awesome. In fact, you all are special. And I want everybody to walk away knowing that there is something inside of you that you need to allow to make it to the outside. You are special. You have some gifts. You have some abilities. We want you to stop being afraid, or as they say, do it scared, do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So dig down deep. Find somebody that can help you to realize who you are, and what you're meant to do. So I want you to stay connected with me. I hope you want to. To do that, you can email me at myrasfry@gmail.com. That's MYRAS as in Sam, FRYE @gmail.com. You can also reach out to me in the I Am Special Movement Facebook page. We love to have you a member. And we also have a Facebook page called The Porch. That's where us grown-ups hang out. It's called The Porch IAS, hashtag IAS, which is short for I Am Special. And on a weekly call, you can hear us each and every Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's 832-551-5100, access code 232885. 832-551-5100, access code 232885. You are special. You need to realize it. Do something. Live your life. Achieve the things that you were meant to achieve. I love you, and I hope you email me so I can send you the 5 nuggets of Mason Jar Wisdom.
Ooh, 5 nuggets of Mason Jar Wisdom.
Awesome.
Yes.
That is awesome. Thank you so much, Myra. We truly, truly appreciated your presence tonight, and you have added so much value to Life Leverage TV. As I promised, I want everyone to write this down, and if you have your cell phone, just pull it out. This is a free gift, and it's all about mental illness, Alzheimer's, and holding on to your mind. A lot of people on prescription drugs, like Myra says she wanted natural alternatives. A lot of people on prescription drugs for mental illness are not mentally ill, they're mentally tired. So I want you to pull out your cell phone. I want you to hashtag, not hashtag, I want you to type in @mindset, @mindset, MINDSET, @mindset. I want you to text that to this number, 410-415-1771. That's 410-415-1771. I want you to text @mindset to that number. You'll get the free gift. It's a 1-hour audio that I recorded on mental illness and Alzheimer's and how to hold on to your brain. Life leveragers, all the information that we receive. You know, we're entrepreneurs, we're servers, you know, we're givers, and when we're talking about what's going on in our country when it comes down to Alzheimer's and mental illness and dementia and things like that, Alzheimer's means your whole hard drive can be wiped out. That means everything you've acquired, all the information, all the education, all the knowledge, all the people that you know. Think about that. That's very serious, and we have to take responsibility, like Myra said, natural alternatives to support natural people, because living people need living food. Back to you, Franz. Thank you, Myra. It was a pleasure meeting you, and I look forward to staying connected.
Woo, awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you again, Myra. That was phenomenal. I can't wait to meet Big Mama when I get to Texas.
Big Mama's not living. Big Mama's listening too. But I can cook the sweet potato pies just like Big Mama. So okay.
I'm cooking a flight right now. What? Thank you. It was a pleasure having you. I can't wait to hear your follow-up story, because I know when you come back, there's going to be even more greatness attached to your story. So we look forward to having you again, and thank you again, Mark. We appreciate you. All right, so we are back live with myself and my co-host, Dr. Extraordinary Visionary Hatton. Is that okay? Can I call you that now? Is that okay? You just say Dr. Hatton. Yeah, Dr. Extraordinary Visionary Hatton. I like it. That has a little flavor to it, you know? So welcome, Life Leveragers. We are here to leverage your life. Matter of fact, we might even start doing a theme song. Leverage your life.
Mike check.
So we have upcoming. Are you ready for our next guest? Am I getting a little feedback?
You're good.
You good?
You're good. I can hear you.
We're good? Okay.
Is that me
Doc, are you
again?
ready for our next guest? I think that's you.
Yes, it is.
I don't know what it is. I don't know.
You're like the Wiz tonight. You're the Wizard of Oz. Come forward. You still look good on camera, so don't worry about it. We can do your sounds for you. Don't worry about it. You can lip sync. But Doc, as I was saying, are you ready, Doc, and are you ready, Keisha, for our next awesome guest? Because I have their whole story for me, and I can't wait to introduce them. Are you ready, Doc?
I am. I'm ready to hear about Lisa and her story. Absolutely.
All right, so we have none other than Miss Lisa Armstrong, and as per verbatim as to what she told me, she said she's a mom and a momager, not a manager, a momager. I like that. And she's built a small jewelry business with a teenage daughter, which is awesome because that's a family business. And now her daughter and her are on a mission to empower single moms. So they took what they've done, and they're using it to share and build other people. So they're looking to empower single moms and children coming from single parent homes so that no matter what the obstacles are, they can achieve their dreams. So we are so excited to have Miss Lisa Armstrong joining us. Oh my goodness, I know she's going to share some exciting information. I see her right there. She's smiling. Her dental plan looks like it's on point. Yep, look it up. See the pearly whites? Oh, sucky ducky now. I see the pearly whites. Woo. So without further ado, Life Leveragers, I bring to you the one, the only, Lisa Armstrong. Go ahead, Lisa. Take it away. You are on live.
Thanks for having me. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
We can hear you, girl.
I have a headset. I have the headset, believe it or not. I don't think it's charged, so I'm not going to bother with it. I don't even know how to come behind Miss Myra Fry. That's a lot to come behind.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's special.
She's amazing.
Awesome. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of the Life Leverage cast. And, like Franz said about my story, I have a teenage daughter, and we started a business together. We started off on a journey. We didn't think to this day that we will be where we are now because it didn't start off that way. But I'm excited about where God has taken us so far. Nobody would have told me 14 years ago that I'd be standing on a platform talking to I don't know how many people out there watching tonight, and just having an entrepreneur behind my title. During the time where I should have been just finishing college and starting my dream career, that paper that we all go to school for and we pay thousands of dollars for, hoping to get that dream job, and a lot of times we don't. Right. So life throws us a curve. And for me, God gave me a gift, like he gives us all a gift, and I didn't know what to do with it. So I had to have a one-on-one conversation with God and say, God, you're giving me this gift and you want me to do what with it? If anybody knows me, Myra, you talk about you being tall. I'm only 4'11". And so God gave me a gift, and he wanted me to go out here and prove to the world that I could do it. But in the long run, you start doubting yourself. You start having a lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty. You start going to people, like whether it's family or friends, and you start searching and seeking for advice instead of going to the main source without telling too much of the story, because I want you guys to get the main story the next time. So, like I said, you start wondering where the funds are going to come from, where the money is going to come from. How are you going to provide for this gift that God has sent you out here to do, to go out here and rather for me, it's telling my story and be able to nurture and water and plant and just grow my gift. And I think I went into I guess a depression, because I couldn't see where any of it was going to come from. And so at the end of the day, you just step out on faith. You step out on faith. We started off small. Um, and like I said, to this day, nobody would have ever told me that I would be where I am now. For example, I got a phone call yesterday from a local radio personality. We've been working with her for about 2 years. But never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that myself and my daughter will be out there on this journey, just pretty much out there marketing, networking, and meeting women that are doing the exact same thing, having the exact same dreams as I did.
Wow. Lisa, you said so. Of course, you mentioned, your journey, and you kept saying, I heard a repetitive thread. Never
Hmm.
in my life did I think that I'd be doing this.
Right,
Never in my life did I think that I'd be on a platform. You mentioned several things that led up to that, and then you said something very defining. You said, "Yeah, I could have been. I could have experienced a little bit of depression." You said, "I could not see." You said, "But I had to have faith." When you
right,
mentioned could not see, because see, I'm a vision expert. All of those are buzzwords for me because I truly believe that vision is everything. When people don't see clearly, they hesitate. They don't, once the vision is clear, you move forward. So when you talked about I could not see, that was that's an indication or a reason why people hesitate and pull back. When you don't see clear, you can't see the big picture. When you're in that fog and you're depressed and you're sad and certain things are going on in your life and you don't see the result that you're seeking. You're doing a lot of stuff and not getting the result that you're looking for. You have to have faith. See that here's the deal. Even though you're feeling like that, there still is something inside of you that knows the truth. That's the thing. And that's when I heard you say I couldn't see clearly, but I had to step out on faith. That's what faith is all about. That's what faith is all about, and that's what led you to this platform. And Life Leverages, I hope you're really hearing Lisa's story and reading into it, because if you're going to accomplish anything in this life, you're going to have to launch out into the deep and trust that your feet will land on a strong foundation when you get there. You're going to have to trust that, because the plan is not going to be laid out for you in your comfort zone where you can see everything, where everything's familiar, where you know everything. You know that if you jump over here, that area is not too strong. It's not going to support you, so you know not to do that. You know that this over here, this foundation is a little bit more firmer, so you can jump over there. But that's not faith, is it? And here's the deal: you're only going to get results that are limited. You're not going to reach your fullest potential playing it safe. Would you agree, Lisa?
I totally agree. I totally agree. A lot of us, for women, will look pretty. You'll have on the MAC makeup, the lip gloss, the red bottom shoes, and not stepping out on faith. A lot
Mm.
of us are pretty. It's a lot of women that are out here that are pretty and broke, and pretty and broke doesn't match. It's a lot of people out here that never unwrap their gift. Their gift is beautiful. It's a pretty wrapping, nice, pretty bow, but they never unwrap it to find out what's on the inside.
Mhm. I like that. They don't unwrap the gift. They don't unwrap the gift. The gift is inside, and like Myra said, you're special, and you have to dig deep to get the gift. You know, we look like a gift package, like you said, pretty, but we're broken, and that's the superficial gift. The real gift, you don't have to say anything about it. People can walk up on you and see you are a bow tied tight. And Lisa, when you talk about, your journey, you talked about how you just couldn't see it and you couldn't imagine. This is all of our journeys. This is the beautiful part about Life Leverage TV. Everybody's story is unique, but nobody's journey is so different than anybody else's journey, meaning we all journey through self-doubt. We all journey through frustration, anxiety, not believing in ourselves. We all journey knowing that there's something special and something great about us and not knowing how to get that thing out. Nobody's exempt from that process. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. There are no sets of struggles for entrepreneurs, people with vision, and then a certain set of struggles for average people. We all, you know, it rains on the just as well as the unjust. We're all in this together. And once we get that, then we can connect and understand clearly that there is no competition. And the people that we meet and that'll be in our circle, we understand clearly that we're all at different levels on our journey. Franz might be 2 steps ahead of me, but because he's walked my journey in a different way that was conducive for his growth, you know, that unique journey, he's able to pull me up and say, I got you. How many people need that in their lives? You know, when Lisa was at a point in her life where she says, I never could have imagined, I never saw this day, I never knew that I'd be on a platform. I never knew that my journey wasn't personal but preparation. Think about that. If we all come together and understand that there is no competition, then we can help each other get to higher heights quicker. Would you agree, Lisa?
I totally agree. I totally agree.
Back to you, Franz.
Woo, that was deep, 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 deep. You know, it's interesting, Lisa, that you mentioned depression, and the first thing I want to do is applaud you for admitting that, because there's a lot of people that don't want to admit that, and people don't understand. Depression is all it really is. Honestly, is a process, because when you depress something, that means it's going down, and I've been there, so I know what it feels like. It feels like you're sinking. It feels like you're going low, but I would say when you're going through those types of motions and emotions, don't just stay depressed, but make sure you have someone out there that can, like Doc said, impress upon you while you're going through that what is really inside of you. Because the only good thing one of the good things I think about going through depression is that once you hit rock bottom, there's no place else to go but up.
That's right.
So that's one. Two, when pressure's being applied to you, you never come out the same, because that means it's squeezing something out of you at the same time. And if you resist that pressure, you're resisting what's supposed to come out anyway, because what's supposed to come out is supposed to be shared with other people. So now you've been depressed, but now you have someone impressing upon you what those gifts and talents and abilities are, so now that you can now press forward through the depression, through the mental and spiritual recession, into your own personal expression of greatness. And that's what the key is. It's going through that process, but making sure you don't go through it alone. And making sure that if you need to pick up the phone and call somebody, you do that. If you need to read a book, you do that. And that's why I always say the key and the magic is always in the mundane. What do I mean by the mundane? Your daily habits. Because there's a certain string of habits that lead to depression. Just like there's a certain string of habits that lead to elation. It's all about the habits, because that's, like Doc said, being a visionary, that's a habit that she's developed over time. You know,
Yes.
Planning strategically, that's a habit that you've developed over time. As a matter of fact, she's done it for so long that it's second nature to her.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't take the discipline to do that on the front end, so that it becomes second nature on the back end. So that when you do go through a challenge, it's you're going through it, you're not going to it. Because like she said, when the vision is not clear, all you see is the challenge.
Yes.
But when the vision is clear, the challenge is just an obstacle to get through. It's just a challenge. Challenges are meant to be overcome, not meant to be to go and visit and stay there. It's not a vacation spot. It's just it's a journey. You're going through it to become something greater. You know, so I applaud you, Lisa Armstrong, because I can see your arms are definitely strong, Lisa Armstrong, because you use them to climb out of that situation, and you're building a business with your daughter. And the funny thing is, you talked about you're building a jewelry business, and one of the most valuable jewels are diamonds. And guess what diamonds always have to go through before they become diamonds? Pressure. Pressure. The funny thing, and Doc, like you said, average people go through struggles. Entrepreneurs go through struggles, and there's not a set of struggles for each. It's a struggle. But here's the key, though. Coal here's the funny thing about coal. If you put one set of pressures and heat on coal, it becomes a diamond. But if you put another set of pressure on coal, it just becomes somebody's barbecue to heat the barbecue grill. So my point is that both of those are coal. You get to decide which coal you're going to be. Are you just going to be used because both of them still go through heat and pressure? But are you going to be going through that little temporary heat and pressure and just become coal and heat someone's home and then be thrown out in the furnace? Or are you going to go through the pressure that you need, the tailor-made struggle for you, so that you can become the diamond and help other pieces of coal become diamonds too? So, Lisa, I could tell that you're a diamond. Smile again for me, Lisa. Let me see that diamond smile. All sympathy. Yup. Yup. That is a diamond. And so, Lisa, I'd like you to talk about that. Talk about some specific things that you did to move from depression to greatness, because that's that's the journey that you're on. So talk to us about that, Lisa. Go ahead.
Well, I did get some help. I did seek therapy, and it took me a while before I sought therapy because you go back and forth like, do I need to help? Do I need to talk to this person? And actually, what got me to actually seek help is I was in 2 bank robberies, and of course, the job that I worked at, they say you should go and seek professional help. And so once I saw her, it allowed me to find out who I was as a person, like my interests, things that I like to do, and so therefore I took a class. So that helped me tremendously. And then she digs deep into like your past. So it helps you figure out who you are as a person to where you are now.
Mm. Awesome. So you took, again, so you were proactive, like I said to Myra earlier, you were proactive in your own healing process. You took some steps, because there's always some steps that you can take, because the funny thing is about being at rock bottom, there's always some steps that you can take to climb. You don't have to stay there. There's some steps you can take, both literally and figuratively. So, but the question is, are you willing to take the steps? And again, that takes what? Courage, because I'm sure you had to go from the fear, facing that fear, and just doing it anyway, doing it while you were afraid, and that's something all entrepreneurs and all great people go through. The only difference I would say between the average and the successful is that both of us feel the fear, but one of us does something with the fear, proactively and positively, while the other one allows the fear to paralyze them. So you did not suffer from paralysis analysis. Congratulations. You didn't sit there and analyze the whole thing. You went and took creative steps to move yourself forward. And that's why I respect Dr. Hatton so much as well, because she's done the same thing. And once she did that, the vision became clear. The window wipers went on, and the whole vision became clear. And so I commend both of you ladies for that. And I love hearing about people overcoming and achieving and pressing forward and overcoming the obstacles, because I always say your struggle is tailor-made for you, but it is not made for you. It is made for the people that are watching you that need to overcome their struggle.
That's powerful, Franz. How can we hashtag that? I like that. Put that in a hashtag.
Well, maybe we can break it up into a hash and a tag. I don't know how we.
I like that.
Let's see. Hash. You like that?
You say your struggle is not for you.
Your struggle is tailored. What did I? You know what? I forgot what I was in the moment.
At least we got the recording.
But my point was that you got the recording. But your struggle
You're
is
supposed to
tailored.
hashtag Life Leverage Series. You say your phrase, the struggle is tailor-made for you. But then you said it was made for those watching you. Then you hashtag Life Leverage Series.
So, there you go. Thank you, Takesha. That's why Takesha's on there. So she can help me out. And I'll say something I'll totally forget what I said. Thank you, Takesha, for the save. I'm like, hashtag give me a.
You just went hashtag crazy.
Cool, hashtag everything. Hashtag, what did I say again?
Oh, I love it.
That was powerful. It was definitely powerful. When Lisa talked about how she had to, I believe it was counseling or a coach or something that she did to support herself, her own healing process, I was thinking that that's what we need to recognize and do for ourselves. When you recognize the gift that is within, like Myra said, that special gift, you have to take that gift and put it in an environment where it can grow, but also put it in an environment where it can be supported. That means you have to take yourself. We do it for our children all the time. We make sure their environments are conducive for their growth. Think about a baby. When you bring in a baby home, you can go into that room before the baby even is born. A friend could go into the room and say, this must be the baby's room. Think about that, because the environment is all set up for the security, the safety, the growth, the education, the learning, and the fun experiences for a baby. When you think about yourself, like Lisa was just sharing, I had to go take myself to counseling so that I could heal. So in order for me to serve, you have to take yourself and put yourself in environments that are conducive for your growth, whereas you can grow, whereas you can get healed, whereas you can move forward, or we end up betraying ourselves. Think about that. Continuing to serve broken, continuing to serve hurt. We think we're giving of ourselves. We're only giving away pieces of ourselves. We think we're giving our whole selves. People are getting pieces of us because we're so much more than what we're offering. So I'm really getting a lot out of your story, Lisa. And again, I say Lisa's story is no different from anybody else's journey. We all take different paths to, discover who we truly are, but we go through the same things on our journeys. Would you agree, Franz?
Absolutely. You said something very key and critical. You talked about being in the right environment. It's funny, with the kids that I'm working with, we're doing a project where you have these eggs, they're brine shrimp, but they remain in something called stasis, meaning that they're literally asleep but they're alive. But once you put them in an aqueous environment, water, the egg hatches and they come alive. And the same thing is true for us. Some of us are just in stasis because Lisa, I'm sure some of your friends at the time said, hey, stasis. Don't move up. Stay, sis. Stay where you're at, sis. But guess what? If you want to move forward, you got to move from stasis to the right, to being placed in the right environment, whether it's someone else is helping you do it or whether you're doing it for yourself. And so like Doctor said, you got to place yourself in the right environment. A seed can only grow in soil.
Yes.
Those eggs can only hatch in water, and not only in water, at a certain temperature. So yes. I challenge people to look at your mental environment.
Yes.
Look at your spiritual environment. Look at your inner environment. Or is your environment conducive to your growth? Or are you stymieing your own environment and wondering why you're not growing?
Yes.
And now look at your environment. Are the people, because what can you control? You can control the books you read. You can control the people you hang out with. You can control what you watch on a regular basis. What are you feeding your ears, your eyes, your mouth? Because everyone is conscious about what they put in their bodies. They want to look great for the summer, but what are you putting into your mind? What are you putting into your heart? What inner environment, not just physiological, but mental, spiritual, are you creating? Because what you create is what will be created. What you create on the inside is going to come out on the outside. So what are you creating? Are you creating an environment of success? Or are you subconsciously creating an environment of failure by your lack of action? And not just action, proper action, and not just any proper action, action that are developing the right habits so that when challenges come, and they always do, you are equipped to win before the challenge even gets there, period.
Man, I wish they taught us this in school. Wow. What is your take on that, Lisa?
I don't even know what to say after all that.
I know, right?
Don't worry, as long as you say it in English, it's all right.
That's Life Leverage TV. I'm telling you, that's what Life Leverage TV is all about.
Lisa, I'm gonna help me out a little bit. I want you to do the Beyonce and move to the left, to the left.
To the left, to the left.
To the left. Yep, to the left, to the left, to the left. Oh, wait, no, your other left.
Right.
I thought that was your left. All right. Yeah, you to the other left. To the right, to the right. Yep, perfect, because now you are center stage.
Okay.
Center stage.
All right.
A little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. To the right, to the right, to the right, to the right.
She got a nice background, her red and black.
You got it. Woo! You got that exactly right, Takesha. See that? See that? A slight shift puts you right in the midst of your gift.
Yeah, like that.
Hashtag
Life
Lisa.
leverage series.
A slight shift puts you in the midst of your gift. Woo!
All right now.
Amen.
And then you
All
can
right, so
unwrap
who's
it
up
like Lisa
next?
said.
Absolutely. So Lisa, yeah, what is your? Go ahead, talk to us about that, Lisa, because I can see there's something inside you. Matter of fact, just that little shift that you made, I saw your spirit move, and there's something you're ready to share. Go ahead, talk to me, Lisa.
I couldn't hear what you said. You were echoing that time.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying that little slight shift that you made. Obviously, it changes your whole decorum right on camera. But I also seen a shift in your aura, and so I feel like just that little movement that you just did just created something that you want to share with our audience. That also needs to make a little movement to the right or a little movement to the left, so that they can take center stage in their life, like you just took center stage in yours. Now, I'm saying that literally, which you just did, but more importantly, figuratively and symbolically, you did what it takes to succeed. You made a little bit of a shift and placed yourself in this right environment, centered yourself, so that you're not too hanging off to the right, or you're not hanging off to the left. You are centered, which means you are balanced. So everything is working together for your success. And most people think the universe is working against you. It is working for you as long as you come into what? Proper alignment with it. So talk to us about that, Lisa, because I can see you made a mental shift from, you said you graduated from college and expected to get that dream job, but you had to make a shift in your thinking so that you can adjust and adapt, so that you can get to where you are now, so that you can prepare yourself for where you want to go. So talk to us about that part of your journey, if you will.
I had to get myself out of the environment of looking for answers in people, and I had to just say to myself that I was going to be okay. The decision that I made, it was going to be okay. I was going to make it. As they say, where there's a will, there's a way. And God provided the whole time. He provided. And so I would like to tell those that are listening that your mission, your purpose will be tied to the one thing, which is your gift.
Mm. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Wow, I absolutely agree. Your mission is definitely tied into your purpose, and you usually find it in the midst of whatever you're passionate about. And so because one part of this journey leads to another part of the journey, and it's a never-ending journey. It's a continuous journey. You know, that's what makes it a journey. It's continuous, and it's a continuous journey of growth, of development, of consciousness, and of success, of dreaming, becoming, overcoming, succeeding, and inspiring others behind you to do the same. So I'm so excited that you took center stage. You look great, Valerie. Can you just give me another pearly white smile, just because you center stage? We saw it off on the red side. I want to see it in the middle. Oh, yeah, there it is. Right. Snapshot, selfie. Took a selfie right.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Doc. I was going to say I applaud her and commend her, and I was going to turn it over to you for you to put some of your insight, because I know you have gems, and I got my pen and paper ready. I'm ready. Go ahead, girl.
You know, I'm listening to Lisa's story, and the more you ask her questions or comments, Franz, the more that really, comes out. And she said I had to stop looking for answers in people and know that I was going to be okay. That means that she reached a point in her journey, a place in her journey, whereas she was strong enough to walk on her own. We look at a baby, and they begin to crawl, and then they begin to pull up on things, trying to use their own legs. Think about that. They first start reaching out. When they get to that standing position, they're still afraid to take that first step. They're reaching out for mommy and daddy, right? And then they get to the point whereas they're able to stand on their own 2 feet, and they're confident in taking that step. She said I had to trust that I was going to be okay, trust my own decisions, trust that I was making choices that was going to lead me to the goals that I had for myself. That's a different stage of growth and development. So I so applaud you for, sharing your story with Life Leverage tonight, Lisa, because it is so significant. So many people are afraid. We have all of these artificial supports in our lives because we keep reaching outside of ourselves for the things that already lie within, and we're afraid to stand on our own 2 feet. We're afraid to trust in our own decisions. Sometimes things have not turned out the way that we wanted them to, and it has happened repetitively. Now we don't trust our next decision or our next choice. So I trust that if you're watching Life Leverage TV right now, that you're getting information that's going to support you in having the courage to stand in your own truth, in your own power, in your own uniquenesses, in your own differences, and just do what's in your heart to do. Do what you came here to do. Make a difference. Add value. Share your gifts and talents with the world. Make this world a better place. Stop harboring all of your gifts and talents. Stop dreaming and start living. Just jump right into your life and know that you're going to be supported, because here's the deal. You're being supported right where you are right now. Whether you like it or not, whether you're comfortable or uncomfortable, you're being supported. So why not just go for it? Why not just, take all the holds off and, just forget about the fears and the beliefs, all the imaginary ghosts and seeming obstacles, and just create an amazing life for yourself? Because like Franz said, it's really not for you. There are people watching you, and they won't even take a step until they see you succeed. Back to you, Franz.
Whew, I don't even know what to say after that one, girl. What? Doc, that was awesome as usual. I tell you what, listen, I gotta turn the notebook over. I might press pause just to go grab some more loose leaf or something, because that was phenomenal. You're absolutely right. Because walking through that journey, there are people looking at us that we don't even realize looking at us. And some of them are family members, some of them are relatives, some of them are friends, some of them are strangers that are just looking at you from a distance just to see what you do in the face of adversity.
Yes.
Just to see what you do. Because they're looking to you for strength.
Yes.
They're looking to you for guidance. They're looking to you for wisdom, directly or indirectly. I can't tell you how many people I've had come up to me and say, hey, listen, I've been following you on Facebook or on Twitter or on Instagram, and thank you for that message. And I'm like, which message? And they tell me a message that I spoke on maybe 2 or 3 years ago. So guess what? That message was what? Residual. And guess what? I never even met the person, but I said the message for the person, and I didn't even know it at the time. So that's what I'm saying. When your struggle, so-called struggle, is tailor-made for you to overcome, so that you can inspire someone else to overcome theirs. And there's someone out there waiting for you to overcome you, so that they can become them.
Powerful. Powerful.
Oh, wait. Did I just get Doc to do this? Oh, man. See, if I can get Doc to move the head, I know I said something.
You did.
I said, Doc, and keep you to do this. Oh, man. I might take the hat off. I'm going to take the hat off.
Yes.
First time doing a broadcast with a hat. I just want to try that. Sorry, Doc, go ahead.
Yeah. You said there's someone out there watching you, waiting for you to overcome you so that they can overcome themselves. That's powerful. That is so powerful. And Franz, that is a shift. It's a great thing to focus on, because a lot of times our why, our personal why, is not strong enough to pull us forward. So when you focus on what you just said, you focus on those that are watching you. Sometimes, Franz, it's easier to fight for others than it is to fight for ourselves. So when you think about what you just said, there are people watching you, strangers that don't even have the courage to pursue their dreams, to fight for themselves, to remove their own obstacles, to pursue a goal if it's just for them. But when you expand that mindset and you remind them that this isn't about you, there are people watching you that don't have the courage to do what you're doing. There are people coming behind you. There are people who haven't even begun to breathe yet that will reap the rewards of your tenacity, your courageous, your courageous faith. So let that be a bigger why to pull you forward into your destiny.
Mm,
Back to you, Franz.
that's awesome. Let that be a bigger why. Whew, I love that. Why not, right? So let's hashtag that into the private elusive Facebook group, which is virtualnetworkinglive.com. First, I want to hashtag what you said. I guess, oh, I don't even remember who said it, but what was it? Let your why. Actually, you know what? Hashtag let your why be bigger than yourself. Hashtag let your why be bigger than yourself. Because like Doc said, sometimes it is true. It is easier to fight for someone else than it is to
Yeah.
fight for yourself.
Yes.
Because if it wasn't, no one would get depressed. But even I've seen depressed people, if you mess with somebody they love, they snap out of it, at least for that moment, and fight.
Yeah.
So different things can inspire you to
Yeah.
just make that little minor shift, like I said, that can cause major, major lifts. Minor shifts cause major lifts. Ooh, that's a good one. Hashtag minor shifts cause major lifts. And it's true. Minor shifts cause major lifts. And I'm going to let you hashtag the last thing, Doc, because I want you to get a hashtag in. I love when you hashtag. You always got your own style. You know, I see Keisha over there laugh. I see you, Keisha. I see you. And to hashtag what we said about helping someone overcome themselves. I want you, Doc, to hashtag that. Go ahead, because I love how you said it. It was beautiful. Go ahead. And like I said, I don't remember what I said, so I know you wrote it down. So I'll let you hashtag.
Yes, I was saying let that be your bigger why. You know, Lisa, I so appreciate you for sharing your story, for joining us tonight. Life Leveragers, I trust that you have received something that is going to launch you forward, something that's going to keep your fire lit, the fuel for your passion, because we all have to stay on fire. We have to keep the fire lit, or we end up starting and stopping and going throughout life with one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake, believing in ourselves and doubting ourselves, feeling great and feeling terrible. You know, and you can't go through life like that. You have to be constant if you want to get somewhere in life. So, Lisa, thank you so much again. You know, would you like to share how our life leveragers can stay in touch with you? Would you like to leave your contact information and leave just one tip, one golden nugget that we can focus on that will continue to launch us forward?
Yes, you can reach me on Instagram at LisaArm814, on Facebook at Lisa Armstrong. Email is lisaarm01@yahoo.com. And one thing I would like to leave for you is that your gift will make room for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa, for joining us. And if we had to post a hashtag, I want you to go to www.virtualnetworkinglive.com, hashtag life leverage. But I want you to type this into the feed. Let your why be bigger. Let your why be bigger. Hashtag life leverage. Back to you, Franz. Actually, I think we're up for Brent. Is that correct? We're getting ready to interview Brent Harding.
I believe so, and I'm having a little technical difficulty, so I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce her while I resolve some issues. But thank you again, Lisa Armstrong, for coming on. We appreciate you. Can you see me, Doc? Because I can't see myself right now.
I cannot. I cannot.
You're frozen.
You
Okay,
can hear me
great.
though, right?
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, fantastic. So I'm going to resolve that momentarily, and I'm going to let you take it away for now, and I'll be back momentarily.
Awesome. So Brent Harding is a professional network marketer for vacation travel, and okay, my screen just changed. 1 second here. And a 240 income earner out of a business group of 15K. She's also the founder of Wealth Commitment for Wealth Warriors. Her personal mission is to create a movement such that 100,000 families around the world over the next 60 months will reach their personal financial freedom goals and live their lives. Starting Saturday, March 21st, the Wealth Warriors broadcast will begin at 9 a.m., and I am excited. Welcome to Life Leverage TV, Brent.
Oh, I'm excited to be here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. It's exciting. I've appreciated all of the stories thus far.
Awesome, awesome. So tell us about your story, who you are, your solutions, your challenges, and how life leveragers can really get the feel that they need tonight to move forward in their lives.
Well, I'll tell you what, first and foremost, again, it's good to be here, and I thank you so much. Oh my goodness, as I listened to some of the journeys, I kind of felt mine might pale in comparison, but you're looking at a woman that in 2011 was on the verge of being homeless. So for every mother and father out there, I thank you all so much. I was, a lot of times you hear the stories that say they went from rags to riches. Well, I think my story is I went from riches to rags. And what I mean by that is that I had owned a mortgage brokering firm, a very successful boutique-style mortgage brokering firm, hired predominantly women, and it was a kind of environment where we worked together, we enjoyed each other's company together. You would not know that I was actually the president and CEO and signed the checks because it was a really family type of environment. And it was daggone exciting. However, one of the things sometimes we don't, the signs are there. I think the movie is Any Given Sunday with Al Pacino, and he says they're 6 inches in front of your face, and sometimes you don't see the signs. And in 2006, I didn't see the signs, or I wasn't listening. I'm not sure which one it was. However, the market, the mortgage market had changed. It changed a lot, and I wasn't paying attention. And by 2008, life had really changed significantly. And, I was one of those people that was really fortunate. I could go into a store. I remember seeing a movie, an episode relative to Michael Jackson. He went in, he said, I want that one and that one and that one and that one. Well, that's actually really how I lived my life. I want this, and I was cocky. And, sometimes cocky has a way of catching up with you. And I say cocky because I remember one time going into a store and saying to a woman, saying to the store clerk, I want that. And she said, do you know how much it costs? And I said, I didn't ask you that. I said, I'll pack it up. I'll be back. And that's the kind of lifestyle that I lived. Well, in 2008, I came to a rude awakening. People didn't have money to pay rent. I made some poor decisions. When I speak to people, I often say, what's the worst thing a homeowner can do without a plan? Refinance your property and pay for things and have no plan. And have no plan as to how you are going to pay it back. And that's exactly what I did. I felt for my employees. I didn't want to. I felt for their families, and so I refinanced property, and ultimately that was part of the downfall. So, I say to people, how many people have made a poor decision? How many people have made multiple poor decisions? We are talking to somebody who made multiple poor decisions. And, the word desperation is a very, very powerful word. When you are desperate, you'll grasp at anything, any straws, and that's exactly what I did. If there was an opportunity, I was grasping at it. And in 2010, I met a ragtag group of individuals and found myself, I took less than $100 and moved to Hong Kong in hopes of the dream. Somebody told me I signed a contract. I was going to get $1.37 million. Well, I'll tell you what, paper can sometimes be exactly that. And I came back to the United States broke, busted, and disgusted, too ashamed to tell anybody that the golden girl had failed, that she was down, and was willing. And I want you to hear for those, I want you to hear I was willing to be homeless rather than tell my mother, tell my sister, tell my brother, tell anybody that I had failed. Fortunately, our parents oftentimes know us better than we know ourselves. And she said, hey, you know what? Let's face it, even Tyler Perry had a moment. So it's time for me to help you out. Let's dust you off, bring you back, because there needs to be an intervention here. You're not working that life like you need to work it. And that was what happened. And that was in 2011. I sulked and did all the things that people do when they're just down and out. And then in 2013, life really made a monumental turnaround. And, I said in 2014 I wanted to get my life back spiritually, financially, physically, emotionally. And I'm very much on my way to doing that. I like to collaborate, which is why I'm a professional network marketer. And then I met an interesting group, two gentlemen in particular, that helped me to realize that a lot of my life has been around trying to create wealth and to help people. And so now I'm going to do that through helping to create wealth warriors. I don't want to see anybody go through some of the things that I went through, and we need to have our financial house in order. So that's my story. I'll tell you one thing. It took a lot for me to share it. Typically, I wouldn't share it. Too embarrassed, too ashamed to say, here I am, an adult that had so much. I mean, I was the person people came to for help. And now, it's kind of interesting when you've been in that position. People will, when you come to them and say, I'm in help, I need help, and they look at you like, what? You're the person we come to. And then pretty soon your world gets really closed because you can't go to anybody and say, I need help. And so it's been a journey. It's been a humbling experience. The things that I thought were important, not, like sometimes people want this big ostentatious car. Listen, I don't want a hoopty, but I want something that gets me from point B. So that's my universe, and But as I was flying back this morning, I said, it's getting to be, life is getting to be better and better, and I'm stronger and stronger, and the decisions, the things that were important back then are not nearly, they're not important now. The priorities have been shifted. Yeah, so that's who I am.
Wow.
Woo, boy, did I breathe when I spoke?
No, you did a phenomenal job. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Hopefully you don't have an echo.
No,
I can hear you. You
good.
sound great.
You guys
Awesome.
can see that.
No, Brent, I actually work with Brent on a regular basis. So to have her on Life Leverage to share her story is really, really touching. And, you mentioned that it's a humbling experience. And you also noted that, your story may be different from others, which everyone's story is. But I love the fact that you say you went from riches to rags, because the key here is that you had everything you needed and then you lost it. That's a different shift from when you don't have it and then you gain it. And when you do that opposite shift or that opposite loss, that is, I don't know the word. I mean, it's detrimental, of course, but to have everything that you need, everything that you want, to not need for anything, and then to have it taken away from you, is life altering. It's one thing to not have anything and then to be given, but to have it and it's taken away. And it's interesting because I remember the mortgage industry at that time. It's funny, I was a loan officer at that same time.
Wow.
So we literally watch the numbers of banks closing every single day. It was a website that you could go to. I don't know if you remember this, but there was a website that you could go to, and as more and more banks were shutting their doors, I mean, the clock was literally ticking, 136, 143, and it was just like, this is happening before our eyes. Like, this is real. $200,000 deals are on the table that were falling off the table. So I can imagine how, that shift in your life. So I really appreciate you coming on and sharing, because, I too have lived that opposite, where you have the riches and you are left with rags. So my hat is off to you. Thanks for coming on the Life Leverage and sharing that, Brent.
Oh, you are so welcome. Thank you very much. And I did not know that you were in the mortgage industry, hearing what I experienced.
It's amazing, when people share their stories, because my background, even though my background is retail, I have a very strong banking and financial background. So yes, I was in the midst of the 2007 era where we all had to find a shift and find a new employment.
Absolutely, absolutely. I just want to share one other thing you keep pointing out. And I'm sorry, I might be triggering an echo myself.
There's feedback to Keisha. She's repeating twice. Do you
Yeah.
hear that? Do you hear that, Franz?
Yeah, a little bit of echo. Yeah. Try again. Go ahead, Brett. Let me hear you again.
One of the things that
Okay, you're good.
Keisha has shared was I can remember, just like she said, watching that website and watching the lenders tick, tick, tick as they were all going out of business, and sitting here wondering what was life going to be like. So it's like she said, it's always interesting when you share your stories. You find out other things other people have had experiences, and there is a cross section that we all come across at some point. We intersect in some aspect of life. 6 degrees of separation, I guess. That's what I call it, 6 degrees of separation. So I really appreciated that. And she was right. It still is a humbling experience. Every time I share my story, it's a humbling experience. I got a chance to give my mom a tribute with the story, and that was in New York before an audience to recognize her. And I really do appreciate her because she is who she is, and as a result of that, I'm a better person for it. So I really do appreciate that.
Awesome. Brent, let me ask you this. What is it that you do now? How do you serve in what capacity now?
I am an international executive with Paycation Travel, which is it's a business model that I like very much because it's an interdependent type of model. And so there I'm a leader in that capacity with Paycation Travel, and I do a lot of traveling around the world. I enjoy helping people open up their own businesses because owning our businesses or certainly having a good population that owns a business, that's what communities need. That's what makes a community strong, is those dollars that are continuously rolling back into into a community. And so that is it's not only is it a business, there's some give back because I get an opportunity to educate people on ownership, and that we need that, and especially people, I won't say a particular age, but I will say this, that the older that we get, sometimes those jobs do not come as readily. And so I say, hey, you know what, employ yourself, put yourself in a position. And one of the most cost-effective ways of being in business is network marketing, and my passion just happens to be travel. I've been privileged to travel to 43 countries. I've lived in another country, and so it's pretty exciting. I'll tell you one thing. I always say to children, we know things are black and white. However, when we travel, they become gray, and gray can be a beautiful color. So that's part and parcel of what I do professionally. And now working with Takesha and working with a few others, I'm now putting together the Life Leverage. Life Leverage. Yeah, part of Life Leverage. I'm putting together the Wealth Commitment, and so that is, I believe, is going to turn into not only revenue generation, but it's going to impact people as well. And so I'm enthusiastic about that, and so I get to be the founder of that, and to create a movement. We need that.
Brent, when you talk about travel, that's an indication that you're coming into contact with so many different people from all walks and all backgrounds. You also mentioned about desperation. That stood out to me because you said when you're desperate, you'll grasp at anything. So you also said you were willing to be homeless versus telling people or letting people know that you didn't do so well and getting the help that you needed. My question to you is, what is that? What is it that you discovered? What is that thing that would cause? Because we all experience these processes. They have different faces, but we all experience the same type of experience on our journeys.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that will cause a person to choose to choose to stay in a situation versus taking the necessary steps to get the help, to stay in a situation that is, I'm looking for a word, I don't want to say degrading, but a situation that's less than their potential.
Mm-hmm.
They would choose a lower road versus the high road. What is that thing? Did you ever discover what that thing is? Because this would help our life leveragers to really see some obstacles that could be holding them back, some self-imposed things.
That's an excellent question. My initial thought process would be to say I don't know, but the reality is that's not true. I believe that shame that being ashamed of not having lived up to my potential, to know that I've had it and I've lost it, to know that the decisions that I made, the guilt. And then there's fear also. Fear is we say fear is an incredible word because we can do it to ourselves. It doesn't need any outside force to and I'm trying to think of what the acronym for fear is, but the point I'm driving at is to be in such a position where no outside force will do it for you. It evokes from within ourselves. But so I think it's the combination of shame, of now being afraid that I could not be successful again, and of having to face individuals, because I'll tell you, I was cocky. I mean, I thought I was the bomb ditty, I'll tell you. So now I have to turn around and go back, and it's go back and tell them that I am not the bomb ditty, and it's ego, and it's ego that will cause. And I still look back now and say to myself, my goodness, you allowed your ego to position you where you could have been homeless. And you did it, and I did it to myself. So I have no shame. I have a lot of shame in the game about that, and I've gotten over it. And that's why I share the story in hopes that it will inspire someone else to take themselves out of that state of mind. And I am reminded, and I do appreciate that false evidence appearing real. And I thank the person that shared that with me, because yes, and fear, and it's something we can invoke in ourselves, and it's sad because it stifles us. It stifles us. That and desperation.
Yes. Yes, thank you so much for sharing that, because some people wouldn't even have the courage to share such a story. You're sharing your truth right now, and most of the time when we hear real people share stories, they're sharing the good parts. They're not sharing the part, because all of this, again, we talked about this earlier, all of this is a part of our journey, a part of our process. We all experience these things. We all have egos. We all are afraid. We all have, these seeming obstacles. We're all in our own way. We all have these things, but we're dispelling some myths right now on Life Leverage TV, because Brent is sharing her truth and her process and the obstacles that she inquired along the way, and some of the self-imposed things. And she's being so authentic, Life Leveragers. Again, this is a defining moment for you, an opportunity for you to look into the life of someone else and see with a clear picture some of the things that they experienced along the way, and shine that mirror and that light on yourself and see, is my ego in the way of my success? Is me being ashamed or embarrassed in the way of my success? Think about that. And when you share your story, Brent, I don't see, and I know we call them mistakes and so many things I made along the way. As you were sharing your story, see, as a vision expert, people have the tendency to hear what they say. I have a tendency to see what they say. So when you're talking, I see pictures and I see images. I don't see that you made any mistakes. I see that your whole journey was about you becoming who you truly authentically are right now here with us. That's what I see. And it took that route. Franz talked about that. I forget the word, how he put it, but it's like a unique process, our own customized journey. This was your customized journey. Can't nobody touch it. Nobody can touch it because it was customized for you. That's how unique and special you are, and it took that to produce this. So I don't see any mistakes.
As you say that, I remember thinking once, I said, as the decisions, I was relying on self. Not relying on anything else but self, and part of that was ego. And this is a place I go to not very often, but let me put it this way. I can remember thinking to myself, God said, "Oh, you got this. You can handle this all yourself because you are so powerful. You know everything." And I listen to my young nephew sometimes saying, "Oh, Auntie, I know everything about anything. Ask me. I know everything." And so now, being an adult, I look at it and I can remember in my head saying, God said, "You got this, really? You can handle this all by you. You don't need any help." And I had the audacity to say, "Yes, I got this. I can handle this." And I think back, he says, okay, let me ask you one more time because I really want to be clear about this before I let you go. And I can remember my response being, I can handle it. I got this. And he said, okay, you got this now. This is all on you. And so when I think about that, I went, man, that was not a good decision. So when I said I wanted to get myself back spiritually, that was very definitely a part of getting myself back spiritually and recognizing, get out of my way so that I can really truly know where my source of energy, where my source of movement comes from, and in part that's ego that allows us to be in that place. So I will say this though, I probably could have shortened this journey had I made the right decision. If I was going to go on a journey, and if Franz, if you were saying, hey Brent, that was just about, I could have shortened this journey. I could have said, you know what, you're right. No, I don't. That's the only part. If I had to take the journey, I wish I just shortened it. Because that was, oh my goodness, that was reminded me of being a kid when you got a spanking, and I could have done without that. But like you said, I'm here, and now my job, my role is to inspire others and to hopefully catch them before they get too far down the road on that journey, and that's what I bring to the table.
Awesome, awesome. Well said, well said. And that's, the more you share your story, that's why I say there were no mistakes. They were life lessons. They made you who you are. Franz, what is your take on that powerful story?
Yes. Well, Brett, welcome to the Life Leverage TV series. We are so excited to have you. And I was listening to your story, and I was just like, wow, the conviction that you have and the process that you took us through from, like you said, riches to rags, and then going back again to riches. So that cyclical process. But what was compelling to me was the fact that you mentioned as one of your barricades to overcoming yourself, if you will, was pride. Because you were, like you said, for the outside world, you were that source of strength. If you were the lioness, if you will, correct? You were that source of strength. Everyone looked to you for guidance or for help or what have you. And you took a source of, and there's nothing wrong with having a sense of pride in that. Don't get me wrong. However, when the tables turned, it is very difficult to make, again, that mental shift to going from the source of strength to realizing you are really not your source of strength. You are the conduit for your source of strength. And so the funny thing about, and the reason I mentioned lions is because the strength of a lion is not in its individual pride, it's in its collective pride, meaning its members. And so you went from a situation where you were the source of strength for everyone to going to tapping into everyone else, so that you were able to tap into your pride, if you will, meaning your interdependence and not just your independence. So you really understood that the journey to independence for you, to being the boss, was so that you could become interdependent, which is what you're doing now through Paycation, helping other people develop their businesses, which is a team, because network marketing is all about team effort. And no one's bigger than anyone else. It's a collective effort. It's a pride. Not having pride to the point where you're not looking for help, but becoming a pride, if you will, of lions and lionesses, and showing people that there is strength in numbers. And this is what Life Leverage is all about. Everyone pooling their resources together, coming together as a team. Together, everyone achieves more. Because by yourself, you can only achieve but so much. But you tapped into the, first of all, you took that ego, and I would say ego to me stands for edging God out. Because the focus is completely on you. I'm the source of strength in you. I solve that problem, and it's all this I. But the funny thing is about when you focus so much on that I, you tend to lose your own vision. Your eye is not designed for you to look at itself. It's designed to look at others. And so you finally started to do that. So I just wanted to lay that out first and commend you for that. And the other thing I wanted to mention, by the way, since you're doing Paycation, I need to take a trip out to Texas to meet Big Mama. So we got to talk after the show offline. But that's another story. But
we can do that.
We can do that.
Well,
But
I appreciate that. That was well said. I appreciate that. I will take in those things that you said, especially the lioness. I will take that in. I hadn't looked at it quite from that point of view, so that was well said. Thank you. Pride and pride. That was very well said. Yeah, true that. True that.
You're welcome.
You've given me some pointers to think about, and I like the edging God out because that truly is what happened. You sure you got this? Yeah, I got this. Then I'm gonna move out of your way. Woo! Yes, I really do appreciate it. Thank you. That was good, as well as the audience. That was certainly good for me to hear. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm going to ask you, Brett, to hashtag that, whichever one of those things moved you the most, hashtag that to our viewing audience on virtualnetworkinglive.com. Go ahead.
I will certainly do that, for sure, for sure. I will definitely do that. It's been a great experience. I thank you. I thank the Life Leverage audience for listening in, and it really does make a difference. Sometimes we need to hear our stories to recognize so that it allows us to move out of our own space. So this is a good day. It was definitely worth rushing on a plane to get back so that I could be here. Yes, it was a great day.
you know what's also phenomenal, and correct me if I'm wrong, but usually with a network marketing platform, you're allowed to create exponential and residual income, correct?
Oh, absolutely. And this has been 2014 was one of the most awesome years ever, and I expect 2015 to be even better than 2014. So it was good. It was good to have come full circle, if you will, and to be smarter this time. Previously just, spend, do everything. Now it is about not only, one of the best things that happened this year for me is to be in a position where I can do some philanthropy, when I can give some money away. And I had that experience last week when I went into a room of people that spend a lot of their time preaching and sharing the word. And I went in with envelopes, and I literally was able to give out envelopes of money. And that right now for me was the quintessential, is to be able to do that, and for them to be in shock. And the word says when you do that, you do that in quiet and silence. And for me, it was like, I just want to, because it was given to me, because I've now come that full circle where you're right. I've been able to create residual income, not only myself but my team, and I do believe in that pride in that team. It's got to be about them first, because when it's about them, then it's about me. So let it happen to you, because when it happens to you, then I know it's definitely going to happen for me. And that's been an awesome thing to have that happen. That's been the quintessential. But you're right, it does, and I would love to see more. I don't care what opportunity it is. Of course, I'd like it to be with me, but that's not the point. The point is,
Right.
I would really like to see our folks look at models like that, because again, part of community is that we have dollars rolling through it, that they stay at, they retouch, and in order for that to happen, we've got to own our own businesses. And here's it, and the beauty is you're not alone, because I've run a business alone. It can be very lonely. Here we're interdependent, so we're connecting with each other, and it's awesome.
It's funny you just said that, because you're welcome. You just mentioned running a business alone, and the one thing I've noticed about, because I've done the same thing, when you run a business alone, you're going to end up meeting alone. Because it's just about you, like you said, it's all your own knowledge, because you are the beginning and the ending, and none of us is the alpha and the omega. We can always learn from others. But now you're in a model where you can constantly learn, share with others can share with you, and then you have that law of reciprocity where everyone you're never running out, because your bank account, so to speak, your spiritual bank account, you talked about being spiritually renewed, that's constantly being renewed. Your mental bank account is constantly being renewed. And because you're doing that, you can renew your literal financial bank account, because it's a process. It's continually residual. It's continually exponential. And there's no cap on it. Like when you were in the markets, there was probably a cap somewhere. And that was evidenced by when the market collapsed, so went your business. But now that you're working collectively with your pride, with your team, now you're able to reciprocate spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and as well financially. So I commend you for that. That's awesome. Phenomenal.
Thank you. It's been and it has been a journey. So when everybody says a journey, it's been a journey. But that's one of the best parts is, and I really truly get to help people to get back what they need as well. So it really is, and it's an excellent model. It's been around for 40 plus years, and I encourage people to take a look, at least take a look at something. And we all need. My grandmother used to say it's a poor rat that only has one hole. So we need to have more than one hole, so that we are safe, or we certainly at least we've got something to fall back on. Because I tell you truly, desperation is a very ugly word. It really is. It will make people make foolish decisions. So put yourself in a position of strength where you're not having to. If the A plan isn't there, you've got something to hold you so that you can make a smart decision, because you've got something to hold. And so that's what it clearly has been for me. Very definitely. And glad you allowed us to talk about that as well.
So is it safe to say then that a shift in your mental thinking led to the development of this residual income, that shift in your mindset, in the ego and in the pride and all the other things that you're experiencing? That little mental shift led to this monumental change, which allows you to move from solopreneur to entrepreneur.
You hit it right on. You certainly hit it right on the head. And the mental. Sometimes I would say to people, oh, that's just, and I would talk about that. Now I know that is a critical component. You've got to have it go. You've got to have it settled in your mind so that you can be focused. But that clearly has led to the financial remuneration is the reward for that mental shift here to here. Oh, absolutely. It really has been. And again, I say, do something. If travel isn't your thing, the largest industry on the planet, if that's not your thing, that's okay. If health and wellness, whatever, but do something, because action. And when I speak to folks, I say, people talk about activity. We can be busy. I mean, and I'm the queen of being busy. I can turn this and turn that. Activity, no. Action. Take action. That's what yields the results. And in the beauty of, in particular, this industry is you can never be too old. My mom is in the business with me, and it's great. And I want to pass that on to my nephews. And my mom is a hot chick at 79 years old. I tell you, she is fired up. And so it's great to be in business with her as well. So this is a good deal all the way around.
Wow.
Yeah, very definitely, very definitely. It's exciting. It's fun, and I'm going to tell you, I'm in Boston right now. We got 106 inches of snow on the ground.
Wow.
I am blessed to say that when it was snowing out there, okay, I could sit right here, and money is still flowing in. Snowing when I left home, snowing when I came back. I mean, so I'll tell you. There is nothing like being able to work from home when you want to, okay? It's been a cool experience. Yeah.
I'm going to turn it over to Doc in a sec, but before I turn it over, I'm curious on your network marketing business, because sometimes people think network marketing has a bad connotation to it. But the funny thing I find out with a lot of people, they want to bash that, but they have no idea what business really is in the first place. And the epitome of creating a great business is creating teams of businesses and teams of other entrepreneurs that you all can benefit from. So what I would like you to talk about is your mental shift, if you will. What changes happened in you as a person? Who were you then? Because we know what you were then and what you are now in terms of your profession. But I'd like to know who you were then, more detail, and who you are now. So that shift you made from the business you had to the business you're in now. And what steps did you take, and how has that changed you as a person?
One of the biggest things that has happened for me is I do a lot more reading. When I came into this particular profession, in this particular industry, but profession, what oftentimes we're told is just follow the leader. It's a case of duplication. And that was in other companies that I was associated with. I have a phenomenal business partner and mentor by the name of Donald Bradley, who had really impressed upon me, Brent, it's nice to follow, but you've got to read so that your mind takes in that information. And so at one point in my life, I was a reader, and I got away from that because it seemed like life was getting in the way. And so I didn't take that library time. And for me, library time means open the book, sit down, read that. And recently, a mentor of many, many years, I hadn't talked to in a while. She said, "Look, if you can't take time to read the book, get a CD, download it on your cell phone, but take in the information." So I would say that I became a student again. Zig Ziglar said, "Car University, become a student of life." So that's really been a part of that mind shift. So the person that I was then, who a smart young lady, a heartfelt young lady, somebody that wanted to help, but somebody that also knew everything, and if she didn't know, then it wasn't important. But one of those kind of things, and I mean, I think I was a very giving and integrity keeper. So I'm good with that. But I went from there into that state of desperation and that state of not being a student, and the mind was cluttered with day to day that it didn't allow me to. I'll tell you, I remember one time my mentor said, "Whoever that woman is, send her back. We don't know who she is. Bring this one." So I definitely feel now that the taking in information, the taking in the spiritual, the physical, taking that information in is now allowed me to be this person that you see here, a person that's very excited about life, very passionate about life, very passionate about business, and wants to make sure that I'm not going to say business is for everybody, because it's not, and that's okay. But life changes. I have a business partner who I talked to a year ago. That wasn't her time. Life changed. It became her time. So what I'll say to people is, just keep my card. If things change, let's sit down and let's have a conversation, because this is good stuff. It's a great profession. If it's done right, if you're in the right group, then it does rock and roll. And I want to say we're adults. We want, I got to tell you something. It's a daggone shame when an adult does not have $1,000, $150, $200 for themselves. And you mean you've been working all this time and you don't have this set aside for something that you want, or for that there needs to be. We live in one of the greatest and richest countries in the world. Come on, folks. If that's no, come on, talk to me, because we need to have a conversation. So it's I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for sharing for that with your audience. I know we're wrapping up. I'd like to share with people how they can get in contact with me. There's a couple of ways. First and foremost, for the Wealth Commitment, all you have to do is go up to Facebook. Actually, Wealth Warriors, all you have to do is go up to Facebook, Wealth Warriors. There's also Facebook Wealth Commitment. So that's among the quickest ways. You're also welcome to email me. My name, Brent Harding, my area code 617. I figured that was the easiest thing, the easiest way I could remember that. So Brent Harding 617 at gmail.com. Or you can text me at 617-438-7949. But I will tell you, I'm always up on Facebook, checking in every few hours. So either one of those. And then you've got my Facebook personal, which is Brent Harding. So let's see, did I give you all the ways? I have your Facebook, Brent Harding, the Wealth Commitment, Wealth Warriors. I've given you my email, BrentHarding617 at gmail.com. So between all of those, and I do actually respond, because I realize that is important. People need to know that, hey, if I took the time to send you a message, the least you could do is respond to the message. So I definitely like that. Very, very definitely like that. And I thank you all so much for giving me this opportunity. And as I like to say on the show, and back to you.
Well, I'm going to let you take it from here, Doc, and if you want me to wrap it to the end, I'll go ahead and wrap up. Go ahead, Doc.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Brent, for sharing your story right here on Life Leverage TV, where real people share real stories and real solutions. Life Leveragers, I trust that you have gathered some information tonight, some tips, some tools, some resources, some mindset tools, some breakthrough tools, some real information that you can apply immediately and get immediate results because, as Franz said, all it takes is a subtle shift to change your entire life. Brent, again, thank you so much for your courageous act of sharing your authentic story with us. It definitely meant a lot, and we got a lot out of it. Back to you, Franz. Oh, before I go back to you, Franz, I definitely want to, because I know we may have some life leveragers who actually joined in the middle or towards the end of our program today. So I want to also extend the free gift. We were talking earlier about depression and mindset and mental illness and Alzheimer's and dementias and things like that. And I want to make sure that all the life leveragers have an opportunity to, like, I believe it was Myra who talked about natural, alternatives, talking about how to target your wellness naturally. I wanted everyone to have access to this free gift. If you take out your cell phone and text at mindset, MINDSET, at mindset to 410 415 1771. That's 410 415 1771. If you text at mindset, you'll receive that free gift that I have for you to show you how to hold on to your mind. Show you how to apply the right tools, resources, natural alternatives to keep your mind in forward thinking mode so that you can shift into your authentic goals. Back to you, Franz. Again, this is Dr. Tony Hatton, enjoying your presence right here on Life Leverage TV.
Thank you, Doc. You forgot to say Dr. Extraordinary Visionary Hatton. That's what I call it. Well, Brett, that was a phenomenal talk. I appreciate it. And one of the things that stood out to me from what you said was in the beginning you were really resistant to the change, resistant to becoming the person that you were supposed to become. And how interesting is that? But once you were able to embrace that change, everything fell into place. And it's continuing to grow and continue to turn you into the person that you are still becoming so that you can once again affect the others that are watching you and that need to be inspired by you. And so what I would tell everyone before you tune out, hashtag this into the Facebook group, into the private elusive exclusive Facebook group, which is virtualnetworkinglive.com. Hashtag the only constant in life is change. The only constant in life is change. So do not run from change, because it will catch you. You cannot outrun change. It's the only constant in life. And when it comes, as long as you're doing what Doc is doing, I'm sorry, what Brett is doing, which is reading, growing, changing, associating with the right people, developing the right mindset, when the change comes, it will change you for the better. So don't run from your change. Become the change. And so with that, I want to thank everyone that joined us today. I want to thank Brett Harding for your wonderful talk. I want to thank, where's my country girl? Are you still out there? I see you on the screen. Wave at me.
Hey, Barbara.
I want to thank Lisa Armstrong. I want to thank my wonderful co-hostesses, Dr. Extraordinary Visionary Hatton, and the wonderful, indomitable Keisha Chambers Wilson. I want to thank you all out there, all you double L's, you life leveragers, for leveraging your life with us each and every Tuesday night. And we're so excited to have you. We're so excited to be with you. Feel free to connect with me. I'm Franz Conde. You can find me on Instagram if you're an Instagrammer at Conde Global. If you're a Twitterer, so to speak, you can find me at Franz Conde, which is F as in Frank, R, A as in Apple, N as in Nancy, T as in Tom, Z as in Zebra, C as in Cat, O, N as in Nancy, D as in David, E as in everyone, which is where you can also find me on Facebook and at CondeAssociates.com. And we are an awesome team. I'm so proud of my pride, if you will. I don't mean my personal pride. I'm talking about my team, the Life Leverage team. I see Brett Hardy shaking her head. I see Nikisha showing me the dental plan. I see Doc doing the same thing. I see my country girl. She's whipping out the grits. Is that grits? Are you whipping out grits on me, girl? Is that grits? Or is those nuggets? We're excited. So listen, if you need to take a vacation, please contact Brent Harding. If you need some nuggets from the South with or without barbecue sauce, please contact
Myra.
I'm sorry, Myra. And if you need clarity on your vision, please, please, please contact Dr. Extraordinary Visionary Hatton. She is a specialist, and she will get you from your point A through point B with or without the potholes. I am Franz Condé, your entrepreneurial extraordinaire par excellence. Happy to be with you, and we are signing off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And